What's good, everybody? This is your guy Manny. This is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Here back for another episode of Talking Commanders with Manny. To be honest, y'all, I'm so pissed right now, but I feel a whole lot better after sleeping through this terrible loss. So a lot of you guys saw my preview show, and I talked about how bad the Bears were. But I did say, although the Bears are bad and we're looking at the Bears as an opponent and we're excited, the Bears were also looking at the Commanders like, oh, yeah, the Commanders. We don't trust them. We're excited. And everything that I said that I wanted to happen didn't happen. We didn't get a turnover. We couldn't get to the quarterback for real. Yeah, we had 3 sacks, but we couldn't really put constant pressure on Justin Fields. So for those of you guys that are watching the replay, do you guys think that the issue was the pass rush, or do you guys think that the issue was the back end, meaning that secondary? Because that secondary looked awful, man. So I'm going to kind of go through several different players, several different plays, and just kind of give my thoughts, man. Right now, let's go ahead and start with Emmanuel Forbes. I want Emmanuel Forbes. Now, some of you guys are going to watch this, and some of you guys are going to be pissed. I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm going to say it how it is. I don't care how you feel about what I'm about to say. I'm going to say the truth. I'm not one of those fans that is going to continue to just go with the flow or try to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I'm about to say. All right? First things first. As of today, meaning October the 6th, the year 2023, right? At 5 p.m., 5:08 p.m. Central Time. At this very moment, Emmanuel Forbes sucks. He sucks. I've talked about him pre-draft. I hope he turns it around and he becomes the best corner in the league. But I'm going to call it what it is. He sucks. He can't cover. He can't tackle. So it's like, what can you do? They call you a ball hog. They call you a playmaking guy. They called you a guy who's going to come in, make plays, and, shoot the gaps, get some picks. Yes, you have 1 pick already this year, but, man, you are getting toasted. Now, A.J. Brown, I can say, okay, that's A.J. Brown. Stephon Diggs, okay, that's Stephon Diggs. No disrespect to DJ Moore, but he's not on that level. He's not. But then again, DJ Moore hasn't had a good quarterback in his entire career. Is Justin Fields a good quarterback? So this is some of the questions that you have to ask yourself. DJ Moore is a good player, but he's not a great player. I don't think he's a great player yet, at least not yet. So DJ Moore was able to carve the Commanders out he was targeted 10 times, 8 receptions, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This guy was averaging 28.6 yards per catch. There's no way to slice this thing other than the Commanders suck, man. The Commanders suck. The defense sucks. Jack Del Rio sucks. Ron Rivera sucks. The whole regime just sucks. They all suck. And the thing is, you got to do something. You got to do something different. Ron Rivera is a defensive coach, right? His buddy, Jack Del Rio, defensive coach. When you put it all together, these guys are stopping nobody. There's nothing that this defense is doing that is exciting anybody. Yes, we had, like I said, 3 sacks, right? But we didn't have constant pressure on these guys. This guy was able to stand there and just have free releases. And that's crazy to me because the strength of the Commanders being the defense and the defensive line has been one of the worst. And I remember a few years back when they fired the who was it? Defensive line coach. Yes, the Commanders fired that defensive line coach. I think it was like Sam Mills or something like that. I can't think of his name. But he got fired, and defense started playing a little better. But every year, Jack Del Rio's defenses start off pretty bad, especially from games 1 through 4. Then from games 5 through 17, they kind of crank it up a little bit, and then they start doing well. This is not looking like one of those years, man. In the last 3 games that the Commanders have played, I mean, it's been awful after awful after awful. Okay. You play the Cardinals. You win the game 20-16. The 16 points that you gave up, 7 of those were not offensive. One was I think it was like a fumble 6. which Sam Howell didn't play well, but they got the win. Okay. Game 2, the Broncos. We were down by 1,000,000 points, and Sam Howell was able to bring us back. We put up 33 points, but we put up 35 points, but we gave up 33 points. So this is kind of where it started. We give up 33, right, versus the Broncos, right? Then you give up 37 versus Buffalo. But, you say, oh, it's Buffalo, it's Josh Allen, is this, is that. You make excuses for it, right? Okay. So in those 2 weeks, 70 points so far. Then you give up 34 points versus the Eagles. You look at it and say, okay, well, the Eagles are a Super Bowl contending team, and, they are really, really good. So, yeah, giving up 37 and 34 to those two teams, okay. With the Broncos, the defense was so bad, and you started to come back, okay. Then you go to play the Bears, right? And you're thinking, man, you're going to dominate the Bears. You're going to play well. These guys aren't that good. You're playing at home. Everything is going to be great, right? And you give up 40 points to the Bears, right? So in the last 4 games, the Commanders have given up 144 points. When you divide that up by 4, the Commanders are giving up 36 points per game. 36 points per game. You tell me, how many games are you going to win if you're giving up 36 points a game? The Commanders are even struggling to score themselves. Yes, in the game versus the Broncos, they put up 33. The game versus the Eagles, you put up 31. And these are like an efforts where you're trying to come back. There's no sustained offense. There's no balance between running and passing. It's like constant. You keep trying to come back. Keep trying to come back. Keep trying to come back. Of course, numbers and stats are going to be inflated. So I don't look at stats so much. But you give up 40 points versus the Bears, even though it could have been like more so like 37 or more so. It's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you. You could have been 37 or even 33. That's still a lot of points. But that last touchdown at the end was just the icing on the cake. Emmanuel Forbes was trash. Benjamin St-Juste was trash. Who's the other one? Fuller was trash. They all were trash. The entire secondary. And I've talked about not getting a lot of support from the safeties. Derek Forrest. Sam Curl is helping in the run game and tackling, but in terms of pass coverage, he's been terrible. Who else? Derek Forrest. It doesn't even matter. I've seen Percy Butler get killed. It doesn't matter who you have. Reeves. It doesn't matter who you put back there. There is zero safety help. Like some of those special things that we saw out of Derek Forrest last year, we were crowning him the future at safety. He's going to be a really good free safety. He's going to be a Pro Bowl player. And that's the thing with Commanders fans. You guys, not you guys, I'm also part of it. We are so quick to crown players. Like right now, Sam Howell has not played bad to where I don't think he can be a franchise quarterback. But at the same time, I'm pumping the brakes. I'm pumping the brakes on Sam. I'm going to assess everything. I can't say right now Sam is the future. I can't say right now Sam is a franchise quarterback. But I am encouraged what I've seen out of Sam the last 2 games. He continues to get better. Even in this game when he had a pick, he came back, drove for a touchdown. Sam is one of those guys where when he makes a mistake, he gets it out of his mind and he just turns it up and tries to do better. Now, with that being said, they threw the ball 51 times. And it was just the game script. The game script, throw the ball 51 times. Sam Howell hit 11 different wide receivers, including guys like some unknowns. When I say unknowns, like guys that weren't really supposed to be on the roster, guys that just got on the roster, guys that you're not really expecting to do much. Cole Turner had a catch for 9 yards. Brian Pringle had a catch for 10 yards. De'Ami Brown had a catch for 11 yards. He should have had that touchdown. Had Sam Howell put a little bit more touch to that pass, that would have been a touchdown too. De'Ami Brown right there. John Bates had 2 catches, 19 yards. Crowder had 2 for 21. Dotson 3 for 30. Robinson 4 for 33. Terry 4 for 49. Antonio Gibson 4 for 64. He had that big 41-yarder. Curtis Samuel was possibly our most consistent and best wide receiver today. He had 6 for 65 and a score. And then Logan Thomas had 9 for 77 and a score. So once again, Terry wasn't really targeted that much, 5 for 4. and 49. So you can't really get mad at Terry. It was just like the scheme of the game. For some reason, they were just blanketing Terry. They took away the big plays for the Commanders, and then they made the Commanders catch all the stuff underneath. And that's kind of why Logan Thomas had 9 receptions for 77 yards. So it wasn't like, oh, wow, man, Logan is just killing. He's just, Logan had a great game. He had a great game. If he can bring this effort consistently in results into like wins or in the Florida offense, then that'd be great. Like, you cannot wait for you to. The Commanders are a team that are they're slow starters. They start out slow. Sometimes you can travel through plane, you can travel through a car, a bus, and get to a certain destination. The Commanders traveled different routes this year, and once again, we are on the verge of going 2-4. Most years, that's kind of where the Commanders are: 2-4, 3-3. It's just never a winning situation. It's never something that kind of gets you excited. Man, Duchesne, man, what's good, man? Bruh, I'm kind of pissed right now. Man. Like these Commanders, man. I don't know how to call it. I'm sick and tired of being a fan of this mediocre team. It's starting to get annoying. Like, yes, I'm a content creator. Yes, I cover the Commanders, but man, I can't separate the coverage and then being a fan. I'm going to be a fan first. And like I said earlier in the show, lots of guys like, what is the silver lining in this game? Okay, Jonathan Allen got a sack. Whoop, yay. Awesome. What did the sack result in? Montez Sweat, 1.5 sacks, but your team gave up 40 points. Yay, stats. Chase Young, another sack. He's now up to 3 sacks for the season. He's on pace for, how many sacks this year? So if we're looking at stats and numbers, Chase is on pace for 10.2 sacks. So he's on pace for double-digit sacks this year. I just hope that these sacks are going to result or help to result in wins. If not, getting these inflated stats, it just doesn't matter. Like, let me see. Duchesne says, my opinion, Jack Del Rio should be fired. He should have been fired last night. At midnight. He should not have made it into this morning, being the 6th of October. He should not have made it into today as the defensive coordinator. Jack Del Rio is ultra trash. He's dumpster juice. I don't care if Jack Del Rio's mom is watching this right now. I'm just going to tell the truth today. He is terrible. Ron Rivera, too. Like, I'm sick of him. Ron Rivera today, when they was asking him, will there be any changes in the coaching staff? We know what they're hinting at. The question is, will Jack Del Rio be fired? And Ron Rivera said, no, there will be no changes. In translation, he's saying Jack Del Rio will not be fired because it's just 5 games into the season. So what happens after you either lose or you put up monster, or you let the Falcons put up monster numbers, right? Or you let the Giants put up monster numbers. You're now going to say, yeah, man, it's just 6 games. It's just 7 games. It's just always going to be, it's just. Ron Rivera does not even adjust, and it's time to give Bieniemy the job. Let Bieniemy be the coach. Let's see what you can do in these last 12 games and see if you even head coach material, like Louis T said today on his Twitter post. So, like, these inflated stats, man, with Sam Howell having 388 yards. Look, Sam Howell was on pace for 450 yards passing, the way this game was going. When you're down 27-3 at halftime, practically the game is over. You can fight hard to come back, like in that third quarter. So here's some of the things that I saw in that third quarter. They drive the ball. In 3 minutes, they go 75 yards and get a touchdown, right? They get a 2-point conversion, and now it's, 27-11, right? They had an opportunity when it was 4th and 2. At that juncture of the game when it was 4th and 2, why not just go and try to convert? If you don't convert the first down, at least convert the touchdown, or at least you try to convert. Because at this moment, you have to have that sense of urgency. You have to be looking at this thing like, man, we're about to run out of time. Like, man, we don't have time. You have to treat that third quarter as if it's the fourth quarter. And they didn't have that sense of urgency. They did for the first 3 minutes. They were hyped. Everybody was excited. It was like, oh, man, this is good. This is great. And then what ends up happening is you go for the field goal to kind of get some points on the board. Okay, now it's 27-14. You're looking at it as like, okay, if I get 2 more touchdowns, we take the lead by 1. The way I'm looking at it is if you get the touchdown there, let's say you get the touchdown there, right? even if it's 6, right? Or even if it's 7 or 8, however, you get the touchdown, you go for the 2, you miss, whatever the scenario might have been, you go for that touchdown there, the field goal that Joey Slye misses doesn't become a factor. Now, at this point, we're down 10, and you need that field goal to come down to 7. One score of possession, he misses the field goal, it changes everything. But the main fact is the Commanders could not stop these guys. They could not stop these guys. And defense got tired. Now, the defense got a little better when we did some things on offense, and it kind of gave the defense some rest. But, man, boy, this was an awful game to watch. It says it's facts. This defense is going up 37 points a game, and 417 yards to pass 3. Man, so we did our little average. Like the last 4 Commanders are giving up 36 points. In the last 3, Dujardin says they're giving up 37 points, which is even worse. It's even worse, and you're giving up 417 yards per game. So in fantasy, since I do have a fantasy show, in fantasy, you start whoever the Commanders are playing. Next week, they're going to be playing the Atlanta Falcons, right? And here's what we know. The Falcons struggle to get Drake London the ball. They struggle to get Kyle Pitts the ball. They struggle to even, Bijan has been good, but he hasn't been great. I expect next week Algier's going to go off. Bijan is going to go off. Drake London has a career day. Desmond Ridder solidifies his job. This goes on and on and on. But we don't know how Desmond Ridder plays this week. That's the key. If Desmond Ridder plays bad this week, there's going to be a Taylor Heineke game versus the Commanders next week. So either way it goes, whether you're facing Heineke or whether you're facing it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Washington's defense can't stop anybody. And what was supposed to be the strength, this defensive line, this defense. And see, that's the thing. When this defensive line is getting paid like how they're getting paid, the linebackers are going to suck because, number one, you either use draft capital and you don't hit on a Jamin Davis who sucks, who got trucked by Justin Fields, or you go pick up a guy that's not talented. He plays hard in Cody Barton. It's another Cole Holcomb, just another Jag, just another guy. So you have these guys to kind of complement or to kind of help your defense because you're spending all this money on this front line. Then you say, okay, in the secondary, we're going to do the little, draft capital thing. You draft St. Juice a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago. You draft Emmanuel Forbes in the first round, pick 16. He's looking like a bust right now. He's looking terrible right now. And then you go get your Quan Martin, who you're not even playing. How many snaps is Quan Martin even getting, to be honest? So you get a Quan Martin in the second round, so it helps to solidify. And I think that Quan can play. And I will not be surprised if Quan is better than Emmanuel Forbes. Sometimes it happens that way. You draft 2 defensive backs, one like the lower guy ends up being good, just like the Trey Lance thing, right? San Francisco, they draft Trey Lance and they get you a Brock Purdy later. Brock Purdy ends up being better than Trey Lance. So sometimes we see that where the first round pick doesn't really hit, but those later round picks, even if it's the next pick, second or third or fourth or fifth, those guys end up emerging, and it just is what it is. Dujardin says Cody Barton can't cover his own crack. Yet they keep exposing him in coverage. And that's the thing. Like, when can we just get a guy that can cover? My goodness, is it so hard to ask for? He's terrible. Jamin Davis is terrible. I'm telling you. So, like, the makeup of this defense, not only is Jack Del Rio trash, his personnel is trash. Let's just call it what it is. We talked about the safeties earlier. The safeties are terrible. Outside of Cameron Curl, the corners are bad. All of them. Like I used to say, oh, Fuller's this, Fuller's bad. Fuller's bad. Then you invest the draft capital in the rest of the defense, and it has not looked good. It has not looked good. So this year, to be honest, if you're going to keep paying these guys and they're going to play like bums, don't even pay them. Like, I'm better off not having a good defensive line. We talk about this defensive line and how special it's going to be, and Montez Sweat is on a contract year, Chase is on a contract year. You got a Pro Bowler, all-pro level caliber, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, but these guys are not giving you that kind of production. So why keep investing in that defensive line? Why keep you say, oh, these guys, when you got them in the first round, you got to get something out of it. Sometimes you have to know how to cut your losses. I would love for Montez Sweat to stay. Matter of fact, I've loved the fire that I've seen out of Chase Young this year. I've loved it. Chase Young looks like a whole different player. I think he's played, 3 games? In the 3 games he's played or 4 games that he's played, he's looked good. He's looked good. And I can't be mad at Chase. But the thing is, like I said, inflated stats. The stats are stats. Sacks are sacks. Like, how do the sacks that you're getting, did the sack that you got impact the game? Like, if you're not impacting the game through getting sacks, then it doesn't really matter. You can't get sacks when it doesn't matter. Like, let's say the game is out of hand and then you rush, you get this sack, or it's a blitz, and then because it's a blitz, it opens it up for you to get a sack. So not every sack is created equally. And they just failed to play ball. I mean, it was just bad, man. It's bad. I'm lost for words. Khalil Herbert was having an amazing game before he got hurt. He had 10 carries for 76 yards, which is ridiculous, man. This guy was on his way to a 150, 160-yard game. He would have definitely gotten 10 more carries, and he definitely would have been over 100. He was run like, this is Khalil Herbert. We're not talking about a top-tier back. So not only could we not cover the backs, we couldn't cover the tight ends. Cole Kmet everybody went off. And it's amazing that the Bears passed the ball to quite a bit of guys, but they only had 3 guys to have receptions. And when DJ Moore has 8 for 230 and 3, and then Cole Kmet, 5 targets, 5 catches, 42 yards in the score. And that was the offense. And then Robert Tonyan, pitched in with 2 receptions for 10 yards. And that was it. That was all the passing yards. So it wasn't like they did something so spectacular. They didn't do anything special. They did miss Mooney a few times. Mooney should have had a touchdown or 2. They missed Mooney a few times. And that's just all on Jack Del Rio and the players. So it's like personnel change. Now you want to bench the rookie and bring in Danny Johnson. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, it's either this rookie is good enough to play or he's not good enough to play. If you're not good enough to play, stay off the field. Stay off the field. I'm not a fan of, rookies playing sometimes. Sometimes you got to sit back and learn. But then you say, oh, I drafted this guy at pick 16. He got to get on the field. No. Sometimes they don't have to get on the field right away. He's going to have to work on his craft if he wants to stay in the league, because this is kind of how it starts. You start playing bad, and then it kind of trickles into other things. Logan Thomas fumble that he lost, that didn't help anything. Not only did Logan Thomas lose a fumble in his best game of the season, I think Logan Thomas was consistent, and he was helping to move the chains. Not only did he fumble, also Sam Howell threw a crazy interception where he wasn't looking. He threw the ball, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Every time we try to get something going, and then boom, it's just messed up. All right. Dujournay says, great defensive coordinator move. There starts around. Look at Dallas. But we line folks up same spot every time. Exactly. You got to move these players around. And it's crazy to me. I have seen some defensive ends get lined up as defensive tackles. I love it. If you can't beat the guys on the edge, move them into the middle. And if you're strong enough, like a Myles Garrett plays everywhere. You can throw Myles Garrett in as a defensive tackle, and he will destroy any guard, any center in the league. And we have all these great athletes, and this guy and that guy. Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne are good enough to rush from the outside. I'm not a football guy, a defensive guy. Dujournay also says Jack does not have a creative bone in his body. So I'm not a defensive guy. I never played football. I never coached football, nothing like that. But wouldn't it be crazy if you can line Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the inside, and then you put Allen and Payne on the outside? I get it, the strength, the power. Just be creative. Try something. I'm just saying. Or you line those guys up in the opposite spots and then stunt. Boom, boom. Who knows? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like Jamin Davis, he's really good at getting after the quarterback. Why not make him a 5th defensive lineman and just deploy him? Blitz with Jamin Davis. Put him in those situations. Let him play some of that strong linebacker and have him attack the quarterback. On the way to the quarterback, he can stop the run. Like Ron Rivera always says, we're going to attack the quarterback. On the way to the quarterback, we're going to stop the run. Bull crap. We've been hearing about this for years, and this is year 4 of Ron Rivera. Like, we're not seeing nothing special. The 2-0 start was a fluke. I try not to get my hopes up. Yes, we're playing with a rookie quarterback essentially, and I love that they're actually letting Sam develop and everything of that nature. But I think Sam is going to be fine, whether it's with us or with another team, because there's a scenario where a lot of guys get fired, and when these guys start to get fired, what's going to happen is they're going to bring in a different coach or different personnel, or maybe in the offseason they fire everybody, bring in fresh guys. And when they bring in fresh guys, based on our record, Sam Howell might not be the starting quarterback anymore. But that doesn't mean that he can't succeed elsewhere. You know, a lot of different coaches come in and try to bring in their own guys, draft their own guys. So I can respect that. Chef Dre Book says, man, get Ron and Jack out of here. Absolutely. That's what we're talking about, man. Ron got to go, Jack got to go, and then take the rest of the crew. Take the rest of the crew with you. Like, anybody that Ron Rivera hired, I cannot trust them. Not only that, the GM is trash. Get him out of here too. New ownership, new leadership, clean house, clean house. If that means Sam is gone, then Sam is gone. If that means Terry McLaurin is gone, then that means Terry's gone. Like, look, some of the things I want to say is going to be crazy. I don't care. Like, I have no emotional attachments to any player right now. I don't care. I love Terry, but if Terry has to go for us to become a good team, then bye. If Chase Young, Montez Sweat, if this defensive line got to go, if you got to break it up, break it up. If you got to start from ground zero with new leadership, new coach, then do it. Everybody can go. I don't care who it is, whether it's Terry, whether it's Jahan, whether it's Kurt Sam. I don't care. I don't care, because as a fan, you get into these cycles, right? I talked about, let's say we all are going to let's say New York, right? So you can take the plane, you can drive, you can take a train, you can take different modes of transportation, right? But you're still going to get to New York. The Commanders are always on that journey in week 6 to 2-4, 3-3. Yet we took the route, we took the sexy route, being 2-0. We was having parades, we was having a good time, we were excited. Oh, we're 2-0 since 1955. The Commanders are 2-0. And we took a different route to get to possibly 2-4 or 3-3. Or we take that route to get to 7 wins every single year. I'm sick and tired of those runs that we get on, right? We're gonna win, like in the last 8 weeks, we're gonna win like 4 games or 5 games in a row. You win those 4 or 5 games in a row, and next thing you know, you're at 7 wins, and that's the max that you're gonna get. We are the 7 heaven, right? We are that 7-win team every single time. And then who are you drafting? Right? You get lucky and you get like those Deron Paynes and those Jonathan Allens that fall to pick 16, pick 17 every year, right? Great. We hit on those. Congratulations. Or you draft a QB in Dwayne Haskins that doesn't work. God rest his soul. Or you draft a Jahan Dotson, who's, he's trying to be the guy. He's trying to do his thing. I think Jahan Dotson's going to be special. Or you draft you a Jamin Davis, who just sucks. He just sucks, right? Or you draft you a Emmanuel Forbes, like I talked about earlier, as of today, sucks. So you keep getting these middle picks. And yeah, you can draft guys in the top 5 that are bust too, and that suck and this and that. But you keep drafting these guys, you keep going through this same cycle. Something has to change. It's Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is not a good coach. He's a good human being, but that's not my head coach. Chef Dre Book writes, yeah, folks not ready for this conversation, but there's pieces to trade right now for picks and other players. We need to make a splash right now to set the tone. And absolutely, we got to set the tone. We've been hearing, Jonathan Taylor's available, and stupid Ron Rivera won't pick up the phone and make that phone call. At least call. See what the price is. Do you think that Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, can come here and have an impact? He can come here and single-handedly save that offense. Jonathan Taylor is what you need for Sam Howell to become that complete QB that we all want. You're not going to get it out of Brian Robinson Jr. Brian Robinson Jr. is a good back. He's even a good fantasy back. He's even a great story. But he's a jack. He's just another guy. That's who Brian Robinson is. And you need an elite back. The last time the Commanders had an elite back, it was Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis, I'll say Clinton Portis. I'll even say Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris was elite for those years that he was here. And if you don't think Alfred Morris was elite, he put up elite numbers. Worst case scenario, Alfred Morris put up elite numbers. So you have this team, and I looked ahead. I got in my own head, and I looked ahead, and I said to myself, the Commanders are getting what they deserve in terms of playing the Bears, playing the Falcons, playing the Giants. These are 3 winnable games. I said, if anything, we're going to be 5-2. We're going to be going into that home stretch, those last 8 games. We're going to be excited in those 8 games. Now you're just fighting just to get 4 or 5 wins to just get in the playoffs. That was the goal. Get in the playoffs. Ron Rivera saves his job. The enemy becomes let's say we win 10 games. Rivera can still lose his job. Sometimes you make changes because you just haven't seen growth or you haven't seen a pattern of success. And I have not seen no pattern of success from Ron Rivera. And then for him to say no staff change, that just pissed me off even more. I'm so done with this guy. So we got the Falcons coming up. If you can't beat them, season is done. You got the Giants coming up. If you can't beat them, the season's done. I'm already feeling that the season is done. So best case scenario, these next 2 games, you win both, and you're 4-3. And people say, oh, winning cures everything. Winning cures nothing when it comes to the Commanders. They're still trash. They're still mediocre. Coaching sucks. Front office sucks. The culture sucks. Like, what are we doing? And here's another thing. I got to address this. Every time we're wearing these black, ugly jerseys, it pisses me off. All the Commanders are doing by wearing these black, ugly jerseys is wearing all black to their funeral. How do you wear all black to your funeral? Constantly. Get rid of these jerseys. Black has nothing to do with Commanders. Then the yellow that you say is gold, and then you put it like a trim of those are the most disgusting jerseys in the league. Somebody say, "Oh, these jerseys are nice." No, they're trash. They're trash. I'm sick and tired of seeing those jerseys. Every time we wear them, we lose. In prime time, we lose. We used to blame Kirk Cousins all the time. Kirk Cousins can't win in prime time. Kirk Cousins can't win in prime time. The Commanders can't win in prime time. So a lot of times, this team will like to point fingers at players and take it out on guys. This was a team loss. I can't blame this on Forbes. I can't blame this on Jack Del Rio or Ron. It's the entire team. The entire team reeks. The entire team stinks. Something needs to be done. It's either you get it to work. And what makes this thing worse about the defense is, talked about it earlier. If the defense is so good, I'm tired of hearing 4 first rounders on the defensive line. On the defensive line. They're trash. All of them, they're all trash. They're all trash because as a unit, they're trash. The games that Sweat goes off, nobody on the inside go off. The games that the 2 guys on the inside go off, nothing happens on the edges. It's like, or you get sacks, you get numbers, but you don't get constant pressure. You can't get off the field on 3rd downs. So what good is a sack if you can't get them when it matters, right? That Arizona game was like the first taste of, man, this defense could be good. Like Montez Sweat got two sacks, forced 2 fumbles, and I'm like, okay, man, this is the defense that I've been looking for. But then you neglect everything else that's so important. Maybe, just maybe, you let Chase Young and Montez Sweat go so you can use money and find you some corners that can cover somebody. Maybe, just maybe, you let Montez Sweat and Chase Young go, and then you get you some linebackers that can cover or tackle. So something has to be done. I'm not all about, yes, you have generational talent. Yes, you have good talent, great talent. But if all the talent, so if all your defense is a defensive line and you go cheap everywhere else, that means your defensive line should be producing like the best part of your football team. That defensive line shouldn't be the worst part of your football team. How you going to have the best? I'm sick and tired of hearing the the first round is this, first round is that. Pro Bowl this, all pro that. But when you need plays aren't being made. You get a sack here when it doesn't matter. You get a sack when you're down 50 million points. And then you look at the numbers at the end of the day, and like right now, Montez Sweat is on pace for like 16 sacks or something crazy like that, right? It looks good. It sounds good. But when you put it all together, you're like, man, okay, you're on pace for this and you're on pace for that, but you're giving up 37 points a game last 3 games. You're giving up 36 points per game last 4 games. You can't cover nobody. And it's like the receivers have gotten like not worse, but like, of course you have Stephon Diggs, right? A.J. Brown is like right there with him. You can even say A.J. Brown is better than Stephon Diggs. It just all depends on how you feel. Then you see DJ Moore and you say, okay, DJ Moore is like that next tier or 2 tiers down. DJ Moore and Terry's right around the same level. And then DJ Moore does this. And I'm looking at Terry like, Terry, when are you going to do that? They say you and DJ Moore on the same level. I don't know. Now I look at it even more, and I say to myself, is Terry really him? Is Terry really at that level? Is Terry really that caliber of wide receivers that we see? Like A.J. Brown. And, because those guys are performing and putting up monster numbers. It's not always about numbers, but it's about being dominant. So for you guys that are watching live, for those of you guys that are going to watch the replay, I'm saying a lot of things right now. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Is Terry McLaurin on that caliber of receivers? You think he's a first tier, second tier, third tier? Because we've been waiting for quarterback play and this and that, and we've gotten better quarterback play this year. Is it that Terry's not being schemed into things like when he plays guys like the Eagles, he goes crazy? So I don't know. Chef Dre says those guys got a QB and a coach that schemed them up, though. Terry's a beast. I love Terry. But my thing is Terry that caliber of the Chris Godwins of the world? And even Chris Godwin has been not so great the last 2 years. Is he on that Mike Evans level? Is he on that even Adam Thielen level? Has he done some of the things that even Adam Thielen has done? I don't know. So and if we believe, and the coaching staff believe that Terry is that caliber kind of guy, then guess what those guys do? Those guys get 15 targets a game. And that's what I need, because people face the Commanders, they look at Terry and they don't respect him. They look at Terry and say, he's a Jag, just another guy. That's how defenses are playing Terry. This guy should be dominated. This guy should be having multiple 100-yard games. But at the end of the year, Terry has another 1,000-yard season. It's now a 17-game season to where I don't care about a 1,000-yard season. You know what the new measuring stick is? 1,200-yard seasons. If we're being real. Anybody can get 1,000 yards. You really can. Take 1,000, divide it by 17. 58 yards a game. 58 yards a game gets you a 1,000-yard season if you stay healthy all 17 games. So miss me with the 1,000-yard wide receiver. Miss me with the 1,000-yard running back. If all you got was just 1,000, I'm not impressed. That means you average 58 yards per game. We need big time, big dog type numbers. I need players that will step up and say, man, give me the ball. Give me the freaking ball every single time. That's the kind of fire and passion I want to see out of Terry move forward. Great player, beast, as they say. What is it? Is it that the new offensive coach that we brought in, you can't scheme him open? Is it that the improved quarterback play? Because we all can say that Sam Howell is a little bit better than what we've had with Taylor Heineke and Alex Smith and some of these other ones, Keenum, all these different guys. So you can say that Sam Howell looks like he's the best quarterback we've had in the last 5 years, maybe. So if this is the best QB that Terry has ever played with, you should be seeing more. And the thing is, it's not even a shot at Terry. I love Terry, man. He's my favorite player on the entire team. But it's not even a shot at Terry. I'm just saying, like let's just be real as fans. Let's be real as fans. We put these players on such a pedestal that sometimes they don't deserve to be where us fans are putting them up to be. We'll say this player is a top this player or a top 10 player or a top whatever player at his position. But it's only the Commanders fans that think that way. When you put these players up against some of the best, what are we really getting? What are we really getting, man? I'm just trying to keep it real. Yeah, man, the Commanders lost to the Bears. I've talked about it. Everything. I've gotten everything out of my system. It's on to the next game. Commanders versus the Falcons. What are they going to look like versus the Falcons? What would they look like versus the Giants? But if it's what I've been seeing the past few weeks, you can expect a big day out of Drake London, who's done nothing. You can expect Kyle Pitts to go off. You can expect Desmond Ridder or even a guy like Taylor Heineke to go off. You can expect Algier to go off, Bijan Robinson to go off. And then the next week, the Giants, you can expect guys like Daniel Jones and a plethora of trash wide receivers and Jalen Hyatt and Paris Campbell. You can expect those guys to go off. You can expect Daniel Jones to run for 100 yards because this is the product that we've seen the last 4 games. Something's got to change. This is a mini bye week for the Commanders. I got to see change these next 2 games. Well, I don't know what to tell y'all. Jack Del Rio needs to go. Ron Rivera needs to go. This is a season that we're supposed to have been an improved team. This is a year that we were supposed to win 10 games, or we're supposed to win 10 games. You can't look at Sam Howell and say, oh, he's a rookie. Yes, he's a rookie that's better than everything we've had. So we, the fans, are fed up. The fan, I'm fed up. Some of you guys might be happy. Some of you guys might be happy with a mediocre product. Some of you guys might be happy at over glorifying some of these players. And, there's nobody taking the blame on this team. I haven't seen any players say, hey, I got to play better. Or I have not seen a unit say, hey, us as the back end of the defense is playing bad and we take responsibility and accountability and we're going to play better. I've not seen any of that. It's just kind of like, oh, we're going with the flow. It's just 5 games in. Then next thing you know, it's just 8 games in. Oh, it's just 10 games in. It's just that same cycle. That same cycle. We start here and we end up at the same destination that we've always been, which is mediocre. All right, guys, this is your boy Manny. This is the Talking Commanders with Manny podcast. I know I'm most likely going to lose a lot of followers. I'm most likely going to lose a lot of fans. But look, I said what I said, and I don't care. Whether you're still rocking with me, whether you're not, I'm going to tell the truth when it comes to the Commanders because at the end of the day, I'm fed up. Yes, I do coverage, but yes, I'm also a fan. Catch y'all on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.